Okay, so today I'm going to tell you guys about the bail reform that's going on. I'm pretty sure you guys have heard of it before. But, so here's an example of it. Oh, you have not? Okay, well, I'll go ahead and let you know what's going on. It says, how would you feel if someone broke into your house and stole your valuables? You call the cops, they issue a warrant out. He then is caught and is brought in front of a judge, and instead of setting a $10,000 bond on burglary, the judge lets him go on a personal bond without consequence. How would that make you feel? Maybe angry or upset? This is an example of the bail reform, which is in New Jersey, Maryland, and states throughout the U.S. This is trying to make its way to Texas. Bail reform is not holding criminals accountable for crimes they commit by releasing them on a personal bond. There is a group of proponents that want defendants to be let out in the streets using a high-risk assessment tool that puts a mathematical number on whether a criminal is a high risk or not. The bail bondsmen have been around for 200 years or more. They put up the money and charge a 10% service fee and guarantee the defendant will show up in court. This here is putting the defendants before the citizens. It would cause a public safety issue by allowing criminals to not be held accountable for their crimes and roam the streets without a worry in mind. Instead of decreasing criminal activity, it would actually increase criminal activity. Criminals would not be punished for not going to court, since this is part of the bondsman's job. No one would be there to go after them or bring them in. Also, if there is no consequence, there will be no hurry in reinstating their court date. So this would indeed slow down the justice time. This brings us to traumatizing the victim by allowing the criminal to walk away without punishment. The victim will then fear the criminal will not be held accountable for his or her crime they have committed. And so far right now, crime rates have risen in cities like New Jersey, who adopted the new bail reform. They are seeing increased criminal activity, putting the citizens in danger. According to Sarah Wallace, from January 1st through March 31st, 10,193 defendants were processed, but nearly 85% were given pre-trial release, which is a big amount. According to Detective Joe, nobody's afraid to commit crimes anymore. They're not afraid of being arrested because they know at the end of the day they're going to be released. It's basically what they call a catch and release. This just shows criminals that it's okay to commit a crime because you will not be punished for it. This is hurting the law enforcement teams also, who are here to keep the citizens safe, making them go out, arresting and re-arresting the same criminals, committing the same crimes over and over, making this a slap in the face to our officers who work hard on a daily basis. The automated risk assessment tool, which is what they will be using, will be unreliable, have inaccurate data, and will be basing their score on convictions but not arrests made. We will be allowing this risk assessment tool to determine whether someone has done a bad enough crime to be sentenced to jail time. It has also been deemed in New Jersey to be racially biased, which is a whole different story to go into. If a defendant fails to appear in court for a good personal reason, they will then be given the chance to receive another personal bond once again, allowing them to walk away for free for the second time. This reduces a judge's discretion. But not only will it fail to replace the bail bond system, which is a zero charge to all the taxpayers, but it will also be an economic disaster. Right now, bail bondsmen pay for the bail bond fee. So if a defendant fails to appear, they pay out of pocket. Now, if this bail reform goes through, we as taxpayers will be responsible for this bail bond fee because the defendant has failed to appear. Instead of bail bondsmen being held liable for this fee, will be coming out of the taxpayer's pocket. All in all, this bail reform does not put the safety of the citizens before the criminals, which we can all see, which is what our judicial and law enforcement seeks to do, protect our citizens and demand justice be served. It is unfair to the citizens who go to the judicial system for justice, and instead they're released without a bond.
Yeah, that's good. Well done.
Yes.
Oh, we just go to the court, not the court, to the judge, to the teacher.
So, do you guys have any questions? Anything you would like to know?
something.
Risk assessment tool.
Basically what they do is they use a risk assessment tool. It's on a scale from 1 to 6, 6 being the, risk, the highest risk, 1 being the lowest risk. So that was one of the issues with New Jersey. It was being racially biased. Well, at least that's what they were saying. So if you commit a crime and let's say it's a crime of like burglary, it can go from a 1 to a 6. So maybe for some people it'll be a 1, so that'll be a low risk. But then for some people it'll be a 6, so that'll be a high risk. So it's not fair that it goes off of just a risk assessment tool.
I got you. So they would, like if they had gone before maybe to jail several times, then it would be a higher number. And then if they said it was a 1, then that person could just be released. So even if they committed the crime, that they would just would they even then go to jail? I mean, would they still go to jail and then they get released on a PR bond after seeing the judge?
There would be a chance that they would not have to go to jail. For instance, there was a guy in New Jersey that had been arrested like 10 different times, and he had been arrested and had been released, arrested and released, and he had no shame in saying he had been arrested and released 10 different times. So that right there just shows that it doesn't really matter what you do. There's a really high chance that you will not be going to jail and that you will be able to, be set free.
So my next question, sorry sir, is what would hold these people accountable if there's no accountability for them, there's no fee, there's no jail time, there's nothing? What makes them, what would want to deter them from committing these crimes?
Nothing really. That right there is part of the bail bondsman's job, which, it's zero money. It's coming out of their pocket. But, so that right there would just tell you that the bail bondsman, they have a big job. They have a big job to do. They go out, and if the defendant does not make it to jail, they basically go out and look for them and bring them into court. If they're not brought into court by the bail bondsman, then there's nobody there really to push them to get to the court.
I see. Okay. Your question, sir.
Point of parliamentary order. Now, you mentioned something about the risk assessment tool, looking at only convictions, right? Is that right? And not arrests.
Yes.
So if a person gets arrested, like the guy in New Jersey, 10 times for burglary, or it could be sexual assault, or any type of aggravated thing, that doesn't show up on the risk assessment tool because it's an arrest. It's not a conviction, right?
Yes.
So they can just be like, it's like a revolving door.
It'll just basically keep going on over and over again. Right now, I really don't know. There hasn't been any record of, I think that the guy with the being arrested 10 times, I think that's the most that they've had so far. So this will continue on and just keep going, and it'll just, will never end. So that's one of the reasons why a lot of people are against the bail reform. And that's one of the reasons why people should look into the bail reform.
Do you think that the police have the capacity to search all these people down that don't go to court and run off?
They do not, and that's putting a lot of stress on the officers, because right now they're having to go out there and, look for all these criminals, but they know within a few hours the criminals will be released and they'll be back on the streets and they'll be back doing the same thing, yes. So that'll be.
That might even want to deter the police officers from doing their job to begin with. What's the point? So.
Yeah, because according to Joe, he's a police officer in New Jersey. He feels like it's just a waste of time. Like he's just having to run around and rearrest these people that he's already arrested like 2 days before, and all the citizens are complaining about that because there's nothing being done to punish them.
No further questions.